All right, let me just bounce this idea off you and see what you think. An idea for a movie. There's a society on a planet in the not so distant future ran by, let's just say, an evil dictator who discovers time travel and sends back in time a bunch of androids that look like us, but they're programmed and given a mission to basically bring about the new society under the rule of the dictator even sooner. And in order to do that, they need to completely destroy a fair chunk of the things that we find entertaining cover to cover. So they go back in time and they're running on the programming they still have. And they destroy, well, close to the works in 3 years, leaving a ragtag bunch of rebels to first try to create more stuff and then try to take out the androids and then eventually come to the future and deal with the dictator, because if they don't deal with the dictator, they're going to keep sending back more androids that are going to cause more and more and more trouble each time they get sent back. And this dictator is a real nut job, too. And he really thinks that by making the society happen sooner than it did in his own time, he can put down the rebellion before it starts. So the bunch of rebels, uh, the tough guy, who's also really good at computers and really smart, the pretty girl who uh, is also pretty smart, used to be a government hacker, and then realized what even our own government in our time was doing. And so she joined the rebels, not the alliance, the rebels. And then they have the third guy who's a rocker who discovers and he's also a avid radio listener, and one night he's listening to shortwave, and for some reason they are talking about the plan. He somehow picks up people talking about the plan on one of these one of these tinfoil hat programs that are being broadcast all over AM and shortwave, and he tries to convince the other his friends, and they're like, no, that's BS. That's one of those tinfoil hat programs. And so he meets up with the other two who believe him, and the two computer savvy ones, the tough guy and the girl, managed to crack the code that was in part of the transmission that he picked up that he recorded. And they realized that something is very, very wrong with this picture. And so the three of them now have to stop the the dictator and his organization. Uh oh man, what do I call the organization? I'm running low on system space too. The organization, um Global Tech or something like that. I don't know if that's already used. Something like that. I'll have to iron out a few details. I'm just working at this as I go along. So Global Tech, from, they have to stop them, or they have to go to the future and then they have to stop them so they don't keep sending back more androids that wreck the place. And the way to tell whether someone's an android or not when they're not working at the places, they're not working at, working in the entertainment industry or wherever they got placed, is that they don't have any new ideas. They just follow a program. So if you start asking them enough questions, you'll start to get the feeling that things are not all good in the neighborhood because they'll start repeating themselves too much. The exact same way, and that's how you'll be able to tell whether someone's an android or not, because the answers will be too exactly the same that they give. I don't know. I just made this up as I went along. So what do you guys think? Do you think it's a very far-fetched sci-fi uh, movie based on some tinfoil hat theories, or do you think that I'm onto something? Like anything at all, any part of this, do you think I'm onto something? Later.